So, Shin Megami Tensei V is now officially out, and I say officially because Atlus decided to send me a copy of the game early, which was an amazing experience and I'm extremely grateful, so thank you, Atlus. You guys don't understand how amazing it feels to play a game and not have to worry about dodging spoilers left and right. At least up until today. Anyways, enough of my incredibly humble bragging, let's talk about SMT5. And don't worry, I won't be diving into major spoiler territory, just some minor early game spoilers, and I'll throw in some tips for the newcomers. Most of the people reviewing this game are game journalists who don't know what they're talking about and have no idea what they're doing. So take it from me, I also don't know what I'm doing, nor what I'm talking about, but I'm the Rogue Renegade, so you should trust me anyway. Also, I won't keep bashing the game for not being Persona. In all seriousness though, I've played Persona 3 and 5 and a bit of 4, and I've been holding off on playing a mainline SMT game for a while. I was gonna play Nocturne, but then SMT5 got announced, so I said, I can wait a few months. And here we are, a few months later. I'll try to make this video as newcomer friendly as possible, but also give some details hardcore fans would like to hear. Hope I'm able to keep a healthy balance. So right off the bat, I just want to say, this game looks and feels incredible. I'm not quite sure what exactly they did to make the demon models look better, but I love it. They might have given them better shading or maybe better textures, I can't pinpoint it, but regardless, it looks great, and that's what matters. It's honestly amazing that the game can run this smoothly on Nintendo Switch. I've played some games with really choppy frame rates on the Switch, so the fact that this can run like this is really impressive. It really doesn't feel like the console's holding it back at all, which is a good thing considering this is a Switch exclusive after all. There's little to no load time, everything's pretty seamless, and I've experienced no bugs whatsoever. The game's extremely polished, which is no surprise considering it's being developed by Atlus. They actually care about their games, unlike certain other companies. I really like the Protag's design. His asymmetrical hair is filled with the exaggerated swagger of a Japanese teen. Okay, for real though, his eyes and hair look really cool. The Join High School uniform is pretty drippy as well. When I first saw his Nahobino form, I wasn't really a fan of the long hair. Now though, I think it looks really cool, especially the way it moves around in the wind. And I know I'm focusing on little details that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter, but I'm the one making the video, not you. Okay, but enough about that. Let's get into the plot setup. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. You start the game off as your average high school student in Tokyo, Japan. Friendless, you have no friends. Your desk is right next to the window, which means, you guessed it, you're the protagonist. Your first task with trying to find a group of students willing to walk home with your sorry ass because Tokyo has been dangerous as of late. Unfortunately for you, all the students are dicks and don't want to walk home with you. Fortunately for you, Yuzuru Atsuda is here to save the day. He accompanies you along with his little sister Miyuzu Atsuda and Tao. I'm not even going to try and say her last name. On the way home, however, there's a murder scene that halts your wholesome little walk home. Oh no, how tragic. Yuzuru decides to investigate, and eventually Miyuzu gets worried and asks for you to look for him. Ichiro Dazai, who I can best describe as your average YouTube vlogger, decided to go into a deep, dark, and scary tunnel. You go in after him, and before you know it, Yuzuru is asking what you're doing in said deep, dark, and scary tunnel. And then you pass out. You wake up in the wasteland once known as Tokyo and what is now known as the Netherlands. I mean Netherworld. Also, the third Paul brother got kidnapped by an angel, and it's your job to save him. Soon after, this guy named Aogami appears out of nowhere, and he asks you to take his hand if you want to live. You do, and you both merge into a being known as a Nahobino, which is neither human nor demon. You are tasked with finding out what happened to Tokyo as you fight alongside and against other demons. I find the whole mystery behind Tokyo really intriguing, and if you're not intrigued yet, trust me, it gets better. It's pretty safe to assume that there's multiple endings, so that's some added replayability value. And Atlus stated they wanted to make the story more than just good versus evil, so I'm really excited to find out what exactly they did. Shin Megami Tensei is typically really dark, so if you like that kind of stuff, you'll probably love this. There's a surprising amount of cutscenes which are fully voice acted, and most of the story-related dialogue is also voice acted, which I really do appreciate. The voice acting isn't half-assed either, they sound amazing. Now, I always hear SMT elitists say that SMT is so much harder than Persona, so naturally I was a little intimidated when starting the game. Ultimately, I decided to play on normal difficulty. And I somewhat regret my decision because I've not had any trouble whatsoever in the game. If this is your first time playing an SMT game, like, at all, I recommend normal difficulty. Anybody who has played Persona or some other SMT game, start on hard difficulty. You can always change your difficulty level to normal if hard proves to be too challenging for you. Keep in mind though, I'm only around 20 hours into the game, so maybe normal difficulty does amp up the challenge late game. I'll let you all know in my full in-depth review of the game. Some of you may be wondering what the gameplay is like, and I'm glad you asked, fellow viewer. But before I move on, I must ask you to subscribe. Come on, you can't get mad at me for asking. I'm the underdog in the hellhole known as YouTube after all. Anyways, the gameplay mostly revolves around exploring the Netherworld. It's really vast and there's a lot of secret areas that you can easily miss. I really like that it's just one big giant wasteland. It really drives home the feeling of a post-apocalyptic Tokyo where everything's gone. That's also the downside though. There's not a lot of things to see. It's mostly just sand and destroyed buildings. In short, it's great for the atmosphere, not just great to look at. I don't mind too much though because the soundtrack matches it perfectly. The music isn't as catchy as Persona's, but that's not to say it's not good. I really like the battle theme, the school theme, and the map theme, and that's only a handful of songs. It's really atmospheric, and I appreciate it a lot. A bit of advice, you'll find these little creatures called Mimin. Find as many as them as humanly possible. They give you glory, and glory allows you to upgrade your abilities. They're vital to survival. Don't be intimidated though. They're all over the place, and it's not really hard to find them. There's also these white crystal things you find around the map that give you a good amount of glory. Throughout the map, you'll find these beams of light called ley line founts. They allow you to save your game, fast travel, heal your party, shop for items, fuse demons, and upgrade your abilities. Yeah, they're pretty helpful. As you traverse through the Netherworld, you'll come across demons. Who would have guessed? You can of course fight them, or you can ask them to join you through a demon negotiation. The demon negotiations are honestly really funny. Once they join you, you get to battle with them and eventually fuse them to create even stronger demons. Okay, not sure how many people here watching have never played an SMT game, but some words of advice from yours truly. Remember to register your demons to the compendium so you can summon them at a later time, and most important of all, don't get attached to your demons. When I played Persona 5 for the first time, I made the mistake of getting attached to them. As a result, I got my ass kicked. Despite what Pokemon has taught you, not everyone has the potential to be viable. Some demons might be good for a bit, but will quickly get outclassed, and that's okay, that's just how it works. There's also a type of fusion new to SMT, so elitists, listen up. It's called Essence Fusion. You can collect the essence of a demon and fuse it with yourself or other demons. It's used to give you or your demons new skills. This is also the only way the player is able to learn new skills, so don't forget to do it. Using it on yourself also gives you the option to replace your resistances and weaknesses with the demons instead. You're gonna need to do that, it's very helpful. The battle system is what you'd expect from an SMT game. Use random spells until you find the weakness. A brand new addition, however, is the Magatsuhi bar. I think I said that right. When it fills up, it allows you to use one of your special moves. The only Magatsuhi skill I have basically makes all attacks critical hits until my turn is over. I honestly don't know where to get more, but some demons will have different Magatsuhi skills. As you level up, your demons will earn new skills and get better stats. You, however, will get some stats boosted, and one skill point you can invest into your stats. I'm not entirely sure what build you should go with, but I've noticed magic has been shown to be stronger than physical attacks, so do whatever you want with that information. Also, the game over screen is really cool and sad at the same time. But it's not like I've seen it or anything. Dying sends you to the title screen. Okay, I just want to talk about this for a second because this has kind of been pissing me off. Game critics and journalists have been saying that SMT5 is Persona without the heart. They're mad that the mainline games are different from the spin-off. Don't play this game with the mindset that it's going to be like Persona. You'll only set yourself up for disappointment. The only thing they really have in common is the combat system and the demons. That's really it. I feel so bad for Atlus because they really did put in a lot of effort into this game. And then these no-name journalists come in and say, it's Persona without the heart, and it's Persona's younger brother. Like, what? I guarantee you if SMT wasn't getting compared to Persona, it'd be receiving a lot more praise. I just want to thank Atlus again for letting me play the game early. I'm extremely grateful, and hopefully more opportunities like that arise in the future. And if this game piqued your interest, even just a little bit, go play it. I promise you won't be disappointed. And I'll admit, I was a little iffy in the beginning, but now I'm invested. I'm extremely excited to see what else this game has to offer. I'll most likely be making a more in-depth overview of SMT5 once I finally do beat the game, because there's still so much I want to talk about. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested.